everybody, and welcome to today's yoga burst. Today we're going to be doing a little trip around the hips and hamstrings. We're going to be really focusing on opening the back line of our bodies, but especially into our hips and into our legs. So we'll get started standing, and I've got these couple of bricks here with me. I'm just going to put them at the top of the mat, either side where your hands would go, and put them up tall. We'll keep them there and we can begin there. But today, before we do anything else, let's just take a nice forward fold. Letting, maybe if you want to go for a big stretch up, you could do that on an inhale, letting your body reach before you fold. Everything relaxed over your legs. Give yourself a second, find some space. As you get to this shape, just paying attention to how much tension you're holding in the back line of your body today and where. Is it really living in your legs? Is it in your hips? Is it in your head, in your neck? We need to give all of those things just enough space to discover that. So just give yourself enough of a bend in your knees to really let your head be heavy. Good. Nice. All right, when you're ready, you can come up. Opening maybe on an inhale before you release and rise. Good. From here we'll get into our little hip opening practice. So we can begin at the top of the mat and we can root down through the right foot first. Find your balance as you normally would. Just take a second, foot to foot, plant your eyes down. And you can let your right foot take your weight, let your knee be soft as you flex those left toes. Good. Okay. From here, we're going to just do a little bit of dexterity stuff into our hips. So we're just going to go nice and easy out and then back in. And these bricks are always here if you wanted to touch your toes down onto them, but you don't have to take your foot all the way off the ground if you don't want to. Again, this isn't about how well you can balance. It's about dexterity. It's about opening into that hip. Right, adding to this motion now, going outwards, let's take it into a little circle. So outwards, and then it'll go down a bit, and then as it comes inwards, it'll go up. Maybe doing 3 of those in one direction. You can always hold on to your trousers while you do this. And then 3 in the other direction too. And we're taking really slow, intentional motions here. We're not trying to build heat, we're just trying to find openness. Good, all right. From here, you can lengthen that leg away from you, and we're just going to really feel the full scope of motion in that hip as you keep that leg straight. Step it all the way around. Oop. And take it back for a lunge. You can bring your fingertips down onto the mat or onto bricks, and we're coming into a little runner's lunge. You keep your knee high, or you could drop it to the floor. We're going to just be here for a breath or two. Feel that openness in your back hip. Good, and you can drop your knee, transition to a half split. Feel that openness in your front hamstring, your front hip as well. Your right hip might feel a bit more openness here. Giving yourself space in your knee, in your leg, turning it outwards a little bit so your knee isn't pointing in. Good. All right, from here, we can walk our way forwards, back into that lunge. Now the depth of lunge that you go for here is going to dictate how deep the next pose is as well. So we're going to transition to a little skandhasana, half squat pose. If your lunge is quite low, your skandhasana is going to be quite low as well. If you want a little bit more space, coming up taller onto the bricks, taller into your squat could be helpful. Okay, so once we are in a comfy squat pose, we can hang out here for a minute. We're not going to hold here long because we're mainly going to do these as transitions. So just 3. See if you go around to a lunge. And neither of these have to be perfect. Maybe in your lunge you kind of take it a bit more like a twisted lizard. Let that knee fall out a bit. And then as you walk around to skandhasana, just lengthening that leg, sitting in a bit. And generally, I would never encourage you to have an uneven placement of weight through your feet or through your hands. But as you go through this one, it might get a bit uneven at times just with the flow of the motion. Do what you have to support yourself, especially in between the 2. Lovely. All right, once you've done 3 of those, coming back to your lunge, Coming back up, I'm going to take it to a pyramid pose. So a taller version of that half split. Staying with your breath, staying with that length in your leg. And if you prefer, of course, you can come up to standing and then fold. Good job. Couple of breaths here. Okay. Go for a little bow in your pyramid if you like, just for an extra stretch. Well done. From here, we're going to transition to an extended side angle pose. So you could bring both fingertips to the inside edge of that foot. You could rotate your back toes to face the long edge of the mat. And we're going to do the same with our hips and our heart. Start to turn them out as well. As you bend into that front knee, maybe your fingertips stay on the brick or the ground. Maybe you want to bring your elbow to your knee. You can reach your left hand up high. Good. Staying with the breath. Nice. From here we could transition to triangle just by lengthening through that front leg. And I'm committing a cardinal sin. I'm keeping my elbow on my leg here because you can go for the regular triangle, take your elbow off your knee if you're going to do that. Or you can go for the extended triangle pose, reaching that left hand over your head. And I can have my elbow pushing against the thigh to open my heart more to the sky, but not leaning against the knee joint, not if it's not bending. It's not very sensitive to the knee. Good. Okay, well done everybody. From here we're going to take it down, step it forwards again, and find a little fold. Good job. Hanging out here for a couple of breaths. When you're ready, we're going to take this the other way. As you inhale, you can lift halfway, exhaling to release, pressing into your heels to rise up. And if you like, this time, you can go straight into that balance. You take your right toes off the mat, and we could stand steady here. Go for a few opens and closes of your legs. And if you wanted to start taking that into a circular motion, you could do. Maybe just going for like 3 in one direction, 3 in the other direction, just like before. Supporting your leg with your hand if you like, or not. If it's not helpful, don't do it. There's no rush here. Deliberate, considered action is exactly what we want in our summer yoga practice, not fast, rapid movement. That's why I'm doing a lot of balances right now, forcing you to slow down a little bit. All right, taking that leg out long, you can again feel that full articulation of the hip. Feel how the stretch moves along the leg as you step it back into a lunge and bring your fingertips down onto the mat or onto bricks. Just getting that stretch in your back hip, feeling that release towards the ground. Big inhales to grow from your heel to your head. Big exhales to sink your hips a bit closer to the floor. Feel that stretch. Good, all right, you can land that back knee. We'll go for a half split here. An inhale to be long and an exhale to fold over that leg. You could take your hips over your knee, walk your hands so they are underneath your shoulders. Good job. All right, as we come forwards here, we can come back into that little Skandasana variation. Again, keeping it low or going a bit higher. And as we are going through these motions, again, maybe just 3, both of your legs, both of your hip joints are articulating a lot in their sockets. And it might seem like the leg that's in the squat is actually doing a lot of work, but it's not really. Your back leg, it's rotating a lot more. It has to do a lot more movement. So you may feel a bit more of a stretch in that leg. Good, once we've gone through a few of those, from here you could bring it up to a pyramid, either all the way to standing, lengthening that front leg straight, and then folding, or you could just lengthen that leg straight and pop into a fold if that feels accessible for you. Again, bring your bricks underneath your shoulders so you're not reaching too far for the... Go for a little bow for the last part of your pyramid. And when you're ready, your left hand can come to the inner part of your foot. You can rotate that back heel out, rotate your hips out as well. Big breath in to open up on the right. And as you breathe out, really bend into that left knee. Come into extended side angle. Good. You could change from here to Trikonasana triangle. You could go for that revolved triangle if you like. Really stretching. You can have that elbow there. Something else that can really help is just kind of making the opposite shape in your left hand. Oh my goodness, my words don't work when I'm upside down, sorry. A couple more breaths. Good. You have the option here to go to a regular fold, or you could take it wide and fold now. Hanging out over your legs. Good stuff. We can take a few more motions in this wide fold. Just very simply bending one side then the other, just switching your weight from leg to leg. Opening through your body. And when it feels nice, you can come back down onto the ground. Well done. At this point now, you might want to lie down, you might want to just take a little seat for a moment and send your mind into your body, see how your legs are feeling, your hips are feeling. Hopefully you manage to get a little bit more openness and ease. When we're looking at summer or seasonal yoga practices, any season, whatever it may be, I take inspiration from a lot of different things. Sometimes it's the doshas, as we've talked about before, the Ayurvedic principles of balance. As I said, that's why we don't go too fast, we don't create too much heat. Sometimes it's from things like astrology, stepping into your power. It's Leo season, so figuratively, when we open through the back of our legs, we are making a little bit more length to stand tall, to walk stronger, and to be a little bit more confident in ourselves. So I hope you managed to stand a little bit taller after that today, and send yourself a little bit of thanks for stepping on the mat and doing something for you. Take care, everybody, and I'll see you again next week. Bye, guys.